In today's NBA, asking a superstar player to play equally hard on both ends seems unrealistic. While there are a few examples of these types of two-way players, for the most part, resting on defense becomes a necessary evil, if you will. Let's look at three big-name stars in the NBA, all of whom have incredibly high usage rates on the offensive end, and find out what they do in order to get the rest they need to be so prolific when their teams have the ball. Before we get too far, it's very important to stress that each of these players will turn it on defensively and make big plays when the team needs them to. So it's not like they find rest 100% of the time, and that effort then ratchets up more consistently in the playoffs. The first category we came up with is not contesting shots. There are tons of reasons why these players would want to allow a player to shoot the ball. Sometimes the scouting report dictates that they should invite certain players to shoot as many outside shots as possible. Sometimes the score can dictate moments where they don't need to haul ass to close out and contest, both if they are way up or way behind. And then there are the times when they decided simply not to get a hand up and contest the outside shot when it was their job as either the primary defender or the help that needed to rotate out. Either way, it's clear during the course of 82 games that this method is one of the most popular ways for them to save some extra energy for the offensive end. The next category is the Reachin, where they didn't want to risk getting in the path and getting overly physical, which could lead to more wear and tear and potential injuries, and gives them a little chance of knocking the ball loose for a potential steal. You won't see too many stars stepping in to absorb a huge contact for a charge call, and it's up to you whether these types of plays are justifiable to avoid the injury and allow them to be amazing on the offensive end more often. Of course, getting back in transition is a great place to rely on your teammates to hustle back and cover for you a little bit, and most stars find themselves trailing the play several times a game. If the role players do a good enough job sprinting back, it affords the stars crucial seconds to conserve their energy before having to give it out to stop the other team. Again, you won't see too many charges taken, as they won't risk potential injury of a pro athlete at full speed knocking them over. That said, when you have possessions where the guy doesn't even appear in the frame until the basket is going in, we have a bit of a problem, especially if it's related to spending that time arguing with the ref over a no call rather than picking up your man and preventing the easy bucket at the rim. And you can use all this knowledge about superstar players, plus all the other players in the NBA we've done videos on, to enter an exclusive B-Ball Breakdown contest with our partners over at DraftKings. This is fantasy basketball at its finest, so join me tonight in a brand new pick'em format. No need to worry about salaries, just select one player from each tier to enter. Best of all, you don't need to finish first to win money, and there's over $1,000 in prizes. Actually, what's best of all is that if you're a new user with a $5 deposit, you'll be able to enter another contest absolutely free. So head over to DraftKings and see if you can beat me and all the other sports fans in the conversation. You in? Sometimes we see evidence of resting on defense when cutters get by them without them noticing while they're walking around. Oftentimes, it doesn't even hurt the team, as the cutter doesn't get the ball. But there are times when they think they can get away with a little rest on the weak side, and his man sneaks in behind him to compromise the defense and give up a basket. These are the plays that leave me shaking my head, as I think there are ways to find that rest, yet still see man and ball. Pick and roll defense is also an area where stars can get a little rest, especially in today's age of switching everything. LeBron doesn't do it all the time, but there are definitely lots of moments where he takes the path of least resistance by switching off the ball handler, sometimes to the detriment of the defense. Russ will also save some energy by sinking down and giving the ball handler space to shoot it, and other times he assumes the ball screener's man will switch onto the ball, and while he might avoid exhausting himself with supreme effort on defense, it does create some easy shots. And Harden won't always focus on keeping the ball in front of him. allowing straight line drives, and, like Russ, will avoid contact with the screener to dare his man to hit the outside shot. So there you have it, sports fans. While you might not be happy about it, high-usage superstars today need to find spots during the game where they can recharge their batteries without sitting on the bench, and it's one part of the game that has evolved over time. Back in the day, the stars were expected to play as hard as they could on both ends. But with all the analytics and injury data we have now, in order to continue enthralling us with their highlight plays, they must sneak in a little rest on the defensive end. Sports fans, to see more of our great NBA content and analysis, make sure to hit the subscribe button, but also click the bell and adjust your settings so you can get an alert the second our videos drop. Because trust me, you're going to want them hot and fresh. You in?